Hi, 6th graders. I'm going to try something different today. I took a picture of the book and the pages you need, and I'm going to play the audio from my computer. So hopefully this will work. Let's try it. We're on page 196, and I just realized that's the wrong page. There we go. So we're on Tuesday, April 4th, 1944.
Tuesday, 4 April 1944. Dear Kitty, for a long time I haven't had any idea of what I was working for anymore. The end of the war is so terribly far away, so unreal, like a fairy tale. If the war isn't over by September, I shan't go to school anymore, because I don't want to be 2 years behind. Pater filled my days, nothing but Pater, dreams and thoughts until Saturday, when I felt so utterly miserable. Oh, it was terrible. I was holding back my tears all the while I was with Pater, then laughed with Fondant over lemon punch, was cheerful and excited. But the moment I was alone, I knew that I would have to cry my heart out. So, clad in my nightdress, I let myself go and slipped down onto the floor. First I said my long prayer very earnestly. Then I cried with my head on my arms, my knees bent up, on the bare floor completely folded up. One large sob brought me back to earth again, and I quelled my tears because I didn't want them to hear anything in the next room. Then I began trying to talk some courage into myself. I could only say, I must. I must. I must. Completely stiff from the unnatural position, I fell against the side of the bed and fought on until I climbed into bed again just before 10:30. It was over. And now...
So I want to go back over here. Right now she's comparing her the end of the war to a fairy tale. We've talked about that before. Like a fairy tale. Hopefully you guys are thinking, oh, that's a simile because it's a comparison between two things using the word like. So it's like a fairy tale. There's another good vocab word here. Clad. She was clad in her nightdress. That just means she was wearing it. Okay. All right, let's continue. She's going to mention two stories over here, and those are the ones that she's written.
Now it's all over. I must work, so as not to be a fool, to get on, to become a journalist, because that's what I want. I know that I can write. A couple of my stories are good. My descriptions of the secret annex are humorous. There's a lot in my diary that speaks, but whether I have real talent remains to be seen.
So she's talking about her writing skills here, and if you're doing a character card on her, then this would be a great passage to show that, yeah, she does want to be a writer. That's one of her ambitions, and specifically a journalist. That would be somebody who writes maybe for a newspaper. Nowadays it would be for an online publication, but she would write a column for a newspaper. And she says that some of her descriptions are humorous. I think we'd all agree that there's a lot in her diary that speaks, okay, more figurative language. What do you guys think about this last line? Whether I have real talent remains to be seen. I hope that you would say, oh, well, absolutely she has talent. Clearly, her book, like we had said in class, is the second most purchased book, fiction book. I'm sorry, nonfiction book. I was right the first time. Nonfiction of all time. So definitely she has real talent, and I wish she would have had a chance to know that. Let's continue.
Ava's Dream is my best fairy tale, and the queer thing about it is I don't know where it comes from. Quite a lot of Caddy's Life is good too, but on the whole it's nothing. I am the best and sharpest critic of my own work. I know myself what is and what is not well written. Anyone who doesn't write doesn't know how wonderful it is. I used to bemoan the fact that I couldn't draw at all, but now I am more than happy that I can at least write. And if I haven't any talent for writing books or newspaper articles, well then, I can always write for myself. I want to get on. I can't imagine that I would have to lead the same sort of life as Mummy and Mrs. Von Don, and all the women who do their work and are then forgotten. I must have something besides a husband and children, something that I can devote myself to. I want to go on living even after my death. And therefore I am grateful to God for giving me this gift, this possibility of developing myself and of writing, of expressing all that is in me.
You guys can tell that I put brackets around that section. I got chills when I heard this for the first time. I want to go on living even after my death. That absolutely happens. I think we had said that she would have been 91 this year, so she may have still been alive if she hadn't died in the concentration camp. But we know obviously that she has passed away. And her memory is not slowing down at all with the building of the different Holocaust museums, with technology. Her memory will live on for maybe even hundreds of years. So that's just really neat. Apologize about that sound in the background. Let's continue.
I can shake off everything if I write. My sorrows disappear, my courage is reborn. But, and this is the great question, will I ever be able to write anything great? Will I ever become a journalist or a writer? I hope so. Oh, I hope so very much. For I can recapture everything when I write, my thoughts, my ideals, and my fantasies. I haven't done anything more to Caddy's life for ages. In my mind, I know exactly how to go on, but somehow it doesn't flow from my pen. Perhaps I shall never finish it. It may land up in the wastepaper basket or the fire. That's a horrible idea. But then I think to myself, at the age of 14 and with so little experience, how can you write about philosophy? So I go on again with fresh courage. I think I shall succeed because I want to write. Yours, Anna. Thursday, 6 April 1944. Dear Kitty, you asked me what my hobbies and interests were, so I want to reply. I warn you, however, that there are heaps of them, so don't get a shock. First of all, writing. But that hardly counts as a hobby. Number 2, family trees. I've been searching for family trees of the French, German, Spanish, English, Austrian, Russian, Norwegian, and Dutch royal families in all the newspapers, books, and pamphlets I can find. I've made great progress with a lot of them, as for a long time already I've been taking down notes from all the biographies and history books that I read. I even copy out many passages of history. My third hobby, then, is history, on which Daddy has already bought me a lot of books. I can hardly wait for the day that I shall be able to comb through the books in a public library. Number 4 is Greek and Roman mythology. I have various books about this, too. Other hobbies are film stars and family photos, mad on books and reading, have a great liking for history of art, poets, and painters. I may go in for music later on. I have a great loathing for algebra, geometry, and figures. I enjoy all the other school subjects, but history above all. Yours, Anna.